Shark.
All right. How's everybody doing this weekend? We're back with the Marc The Shark MMA show. And today we got Zane on the line. How you doing today, Zane?
I'm good, Mark. How you doing?
All right. All right. So today we're going to be going over last week's fights with
Overeem
versus Alexander Volkov.
Volkov, yep.
They had some pretty good fights on last weekend. We had a good time watching it.
I did. I was I'm gonna put my glasses on here while I'm opening up some stuff. But yes, I thought it was interesting. I really thought that Overeem was going to give a better.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the first fight. Like I missed most of it, but because I signed up too late. I think I was too busy watching Cobra Kai on Netflix. My kids just love that show. They're getting into it. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it for the guys watching or listening to this podcast. But yeah, it was the one fight that like I got in towards the end of it was Beneil Dariush versus Diego Fiera, and it was really top-notch jiu-jitsu going on there. I mean, I was pretty impressed what I caught. I think I caught the last 2 rounds or the last round of the 3-round fight. I mean, what were your thoughts on that?
Wait, which one are we talking about now?
Beneil Dariush and Diego Fiera, the 2 jiu-jitsu guys.
Oh, that was an insane fight. That was just an excellent fight. So I feel, number one, they were very, very equally matched, and the result of that match. Wait, I'm actually looking up here. I wanted to make sure my information was right. The result, it actually could have gone, I feel, like either way. I mean, it was a 3-round fight. It was touch and go the whole time, but I do feel that it was to the point where Dariush probably put a little bit more of a beating on Diego, definitely towards the end. So it was really touch and go. I feel it was a very, very close fight, and I feel that Dariush had more maybe power shots. And I feel that in order to beat him, you got to move, and you got to. I'm actually. I just feel that it could have been, in order to take out Dariush, you had to make him get thrown around the cage. You can't allow him to throw you around the cage or bully you around the cage. I feel that with a fighter like that, who's constantly coming, you got to move, take him down, beat him up, get him up, beat him up again. Like, constantly change levels and take him down, beat him up, but then don't stay on the ground. And if you are going to be on the ground, you have to make sure that you got top position and you're moving and you're moving and you're moving. This is the type of guy where if you slow down, if you try and hold him, he's going to eventually get loose and he's going to just hunt you down. So I feel that Dariush did a little bit better. He was able to force his opponent into his game more and just keep the pressure and hit him with big shots. And I think that's what gave him I think that's what gave him the fight.
Yeah. Now Dariush has been around for a while. I think he's on how many fights? He's on a big win streak, dude. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is his 6-fight win streak. And if you guys are interested, there's a YouTube video of him when he used to compete in jiu-jitsu tournaments against Kron Gracie. I'm trying to check the other guy's record, because the other guy, I think Fiera had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins, and then he lost. So they were both on a 5-1 win streak. But getting back to Dariush, there's a fight on YouTube with him and Kron Gracie in the jiu-jitsu match at the Abu Dhabi Pro Jiu-Jitsu tournament. I don't know if it was the trials, the win to go over to Abu Dhabi. when he was a brown belt, and I think Kron just got his black belt, or he was a black belt for a while, and he actually gave Kron a very hard time. So I remember the first time I saw him in the UFC, I already knew that he had good jiu-jitsu skills. But what's really is improved on him is his hands, because he's been knocking people out too. Like prior to this fight, I think he won. How many did he win by knockout? He won by knockout two. The last two fights before this one, he won by TKO, and then his 2 fights before that by submission. So he's on a good roll. Now we'll see if he gets, moves up the ladder. I don't recall what his rank is, but he's definitely up there. And was that fight? In that fight, yeah, that was a lightweight fight, man. I'm telling you, that lightweight division is getting stacked. I mean, we were just talking about Poirier and Connor and some other guys last week in that division, trying to figure out who should go for the title. But he's getting up there, man. He's definitely improved, especially with his hands. Then after that, I think there was a pretty even fight between Alexandre Pondage and Manuel Capi. That was the fight right after that. I mean, what'd you think of that one? That was like an unanimous decision win. Alexander won.
There was a couple of insane fights. I actually let me go back to the actual. I want to go back to the rankings page that I had up before. So yes, so that now, Mark, actually, what round was it in that it was actually finished? It was in.
I think it went. I think it went the whole 5 rounds, if I'm not mistaken.
There was a couple of times where I thought it was going to end, and what happened was you got Pantoja and Cap, right? We're talking about that fight. All right.
Yeah.
So
it went all 3 rounds.
Right. So what happened was, at first, I feel that it started off slow, where not slow meaning I feel that Cap started off slow, where he was mostly playing defensive and trying to counter. And I feel that absolutely 2 things that he had on Pantoja was speed and actually he had a couple things. Speed, I think boxing ability, power, but I just feel that he should have started earlier. They gave it to Pantoja. I feel that it probably could have gone the other way if Cap started off early. If he stopped, staying away and trying to catch him with a big shot or a strong, hook or reverse punch. So unfortunately, I would actually like to see these 2 fight again, and I would like to see Cap start early. That's where I feel it was a little bit disappointing on Cap's end. He should have started early and don't allow the fighter to fight his fight. I feel he should have started early.
Yeah. And then right after that, we had Clay Guida and Michael Johnson. And these guys, I think I'd have to check the stats, but I think this was like a do or die fight for these guys. Because Clay Guida, I think, had a couple losses. Johnson's been losing, so I think this is the fight that's going to decide who stays, who goes. Because let me check right now. Clay Guida, he had a 2-fight loss streak, and Johnson. These guys have been around for a while too. He was on a 3-fight losing streak, and obviously he lost this one with Clay Guida. But I mean, Clay Guida, and I was shocked. He took it to him. There's only so much you can say. I mean, he won by an unanimous decision, but he totally dominated Johnson.
I thought that he. Oh no, he didn't. He didn't choke him out. He was able to.
Came close. He came close towards the end there. Yeah.
That I was wrong about this fight. I honestly thought that Michael Johnson, everything I've seen from him, I thought that he was going to be able to take him. But I guess Clay Guida says, you're not gonna, this, like you said, it was a do or die situation, and Guida just said, I got to go in there, guns blazing, and I got to get this done. And I think he was a little bit too much. He was moving around a little bit too much, where Michael Johnson had a tough time tagging him, and throwing those power shots that Johnson has. I feel that he's got power, but he couldn't touch him enough.
Yeah.
Clay Guida was fast, relentless, and I guess, tired. It also looked like Michael Johnson got tired. He got hit with a couple of big shots.
Yeah.
But he got tired, and
that's the thing with Clay Guida. If you don't have good cardio, he's going to out cardio you. I mean, that guy. I mean, he's getting up there in age, and he still bounces up and down. Like we were talking about, there were a few fighters that I thought were good, but I just couldn't stand watching the fight because I was getting dizzy. I would get dizzy watching it. It would be him, Dominic Cruz, and Frankie Edgar.
Yeah.
And they just move around too much, like little like bebops, And he's one of them. But I mean, he's had some good fights in his career, Clay, and Clay Guida. I mean, if you're not up to cardio shape, you're done. I mean, and he has the. I think Clay Guida, like if they had 6-round fights or 7-round MMA fights, I think he can easily do 6-7 rounds.
Well, there's a lot of fighters that are like that. The way that fighters train now, they train for a championship bout where they want to have in the 5th round the same energy that they had in the 1st round. So a true champion is someone that will train that way to make sure that they are prepared for a war, a 5-round war. I mean, after 5 rounds of moving constantly, attacking, cutting off the ring and getting in there and constantly being in someone's face, that's what you have to prepare for in order to be an elite fighter now. I think that's what I think a lot of fighters do. But I got to give it to Clay Guida. He was able to be relentless. He was able to avoid getting hit with too many shots. And I think that, I like Johnson. He's a good fighter, but I think that he might have underestimated Clay Guida a little bit.
Yeah.
And, he wasn't able to perform the way he should have. He wasn't able to stay away. He wasn't able to maybe use an uppercut or certain knees or something to keep Clay Guida away from him and to hit him with big shots to slow him down and take him out. Not many have taken Clay Guida out. I don't know if you have the stats there. How many times has Clay?
Yeah, I think he got knocked out. I think once. I remember during the fight they were showing a recap. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I wonder who knocked out. I forgot. I thought it was Anthony Pettis, but I'm like, maybe it's
Poirier.
Oh, Poirier knocked him out.
No, wait. No. Sorry. Brian Ortega. With a flying knee.
Ortega with a flying knee. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah. And then he fought. I mean, he's been around. He lost to submission to Charles Oliveira, which is one of the guys we were talking about last time. And he beat BJ Penn. Then he lost to Jim Miller by technical submission. Then he lost to Bobby Green, and then he beat Michael Johnson. But the knockout was Brian Ortega. That's another guy. If he gets his act together and comes back strong, I mean that division is just so stacked. It really is. I don't know why they focus so much on the heavyweight and the light heavyweight. I guess that's just a traditional thing. Guys just like to see big guys go at it and get knocked out. But I mean, that lightweight division is just so exciting to watch. I mean, the bantamweight, they're like little mice, whatever that 125. Little midgets running around. But the 155, I like that.
Getting beat up by a midget, but
little midgets. They're tough little midgets, but they're midgets. I prefer, the lightest. I really like the 155. Obviously, I like the welterweight and the middleweight divisions too. But then we got we had the main event here. Oh, actually, before that,
Oh yeah,
I forgot about it.
well,
Corey Sandhagen defeating Frankie Edgar. And
now
we were just talking about Frankie.
this is my thing. This is what I wanted to say about
And
Frankie.
and he was number 2 going into this fight, if I'm not mistaken, right? He was ranked number 2.
He was up there, but this is my thing. Frankie Edgar has been around for a while.
Oh yeah,
Similar to Michael Johnson and Clay Guida. And what happens is, even though that Frankie Edgar is an awesome fighter and just a really, really nice guy, I feel that he would not have been able to make it to or be the champion. And I feel that he's been hit a lot. And once you get hit a lot or knocked out enough, that takes away that ability to withstand pain and withstand damage. So I feel that even though it was a very well-placed knee that knocked him out, I feel that.
Well, he's definitely damaged after that, Nate. That I don't think he's going to recover from that.
Yeah, but
here's the thing: is it really him going down, or is Corey that much better? Right?
Well, in my opinion, answer this: how many times have you seen Frankie Edgar either get knocked out or get knocked down by a really damaging blow and then weather a storm? It's been often. It's been for years.
I don't think he's been knocked out a lot, but he's been in some wars, dude. He's been in a lot of, unlike the other fighters in this division, he's been in a lot of championship fights. Like he went off. I think when he lost his belt, he went off, and then he went up a weight class. I think he was in the 145 division before this, right? And he went up.
But
and they immediately shot him to the title shot.
But
then he had those wars with BJ Penn.
Right, but what I'm getting to is this: would he, if he had not sustained any of that damage, would he have been able to possibly weather that knee? Now, some people say, yeah. Some people say, no, it was so well placed. It doesn't matter if he came in there, untouched his whole life. That would have knocked out anybody. And maybe so. But we've seen some guys where they get hit with a big knee and they're able to weather that, or they get hit with a big kick or a big punch. And I think that when you're around a while, you're going to be a little bit slower, a little bit less able to withstand damage. And I think that at this point, Frankie Edgar really should retire. I really do.
Yeah. Now here's some interesting stats. 2 fights before this, he got TKO'd by Cheng Sung Jung. All right. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 fights before that, he got TKO'd. Oh, no, he won by TKO. I'm trying to see. That was the other TKO. So he was TKO'd a few fights before. I'm trying to see if he got TKO'd. So he's only been TKO'd in his career. But my point is, he's been a lot of his fights in the later part of his career were championship fights, right? Against high caliber guys. But what I find funny is when you watch that replay, you're like wondering, like, how is it he did not see that knee come at him? But you don't know unless you're in there. I mean, it had to be so explosive. Just did not see a jumping knee come at you. I remember one time when I used to Thai box a little. We would like move around slow, and there was a guy trying that on me. And I was actually surprised. You would think. I mean, he didn't hit me in the knee, in the knee, me in the head, but he attempted to knee me in the chest where it would have jumped me. But you would think that you would see that, right? Because it's such a big movement. But that guy just has to be so explosive. And for those who don't know, when you watch stuff on film, it's actually slower than when you're actually there. But I was impressed with this kid. And to be honest, he's another guy I've maybe seen him once or twice, but I never really gave much notice to him. That's why I was shocked when he went in there and they had him ranked at number 2. I'm like, wow. So now, I mean, it's another guy.
Well,
right? I mean, what was that for? 145?
Well, it was 130.
That was the 135?
Yeah. So now, but when you look
Or
at
45. Okay.
look at Corey Sandhagen and look to see who he lost against. All right. So take a look at his stats. Now, obviously, he won against Edgar, but before that, he won against
Benjamin Sterling, who's number 1. That's the guy who's ranked number 1.
right. That's the guy who's the title.
He's fighting for the title, I think.
I know, and
I don't even know who he's fighting. I forget who, but
well,
that guy from overseas. I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah,
that's who he's fighting.
Yes, I forget how it's an easy pronunciation, but I forget how to.
I just forget who it is. And I, Sterling is a fantastic fighter, man. He's very exciting to watch. He's got good wrestling, good stand up, and since he trains with Sarah, his jiu-jitsu is very good as well. I mean, he's good. He's got what I call wrestler jiu-jitsu, where may not be high level jiu-jitsu guys, but the wrestling is just so good they don't need to know that much to put good jiu-jitsu guys away. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he had one fight where he took the guy's back and he went for a knee bar. The guy tried to shake him off and he grabbed the knee, he grabbed the leg, and the guy had no choice but go to the ground, and he hyperextended the guy's knee. I mean, so whenever that fight is, I don't know when that's scheduled, but I'm definitely watching that fight. But we'll see. I mean, I'd like to see him go against this kid too. But, there's just so many good fights out there, right? And now we got the main event, Overeem.
Yes. I was disappointed with that fight.
Now I know you're disappointed, but let me give you a little history. The reason, and I'll give you my thoughts as to why I was disappointed. Volkov, I know him from Bellator, and he never won the world belt, but I know he made it to the finals in their tournament. I think maybe once or twice, if I'm not mistaken. But the reason I was disappointed in this fight is because Overeem, despite I would have thought he would have had a superior striking advantage, considering his credentials, I was very shocked that he didn't attempt a takedown, because he doesn't have the double legs or single legs or the judo throws, but he's very good at, to trips where he gets in the clinch and he just sticks his leg behind you and trips you down, and then he's got like basic submission skills when he gets on top of you. I mean, he's got a couple submission wins. I was very surprised knowing that the guy's got a lot of long reach against him, that he didn't try to close that gap, right? Because when you're fighting a guy that's longer than you got one of the best ways to solve that, if the guy's got a long reach, is to be really close to him, and like the mid range or the grappling range. That's where wrestling and submission fighters and jiu-jitsu guys have that advantage, because they can't get that reach out, man. They can't extend.
Marc,
So I was very surprised he didn't pull that off.
Well, Marc, relating to what you were saying about dealing with a guy that has, first of all, a big punch and has a long reach, it brings me back to Couture. Couture versus forget who was that giant guy. He was like
Silva from Pat Miletich camp.
Yeah,
like when he won the belt back at the age of like 43 or something.
Remember the way he fought him? He was constantly moving his head, and then he would come around as the guy would jab.
Clinched him.
He got within the distance that he needed to.
Yeah.
The guy would throw Silva would throw the punch, and he'd slip it and come around on the inside.
Yeah.
I just think that he trained.
Probably learned that from Chuck Liddell.
Could have been, yeah.
That punch, because that's a Chuck Liddell, was real known for that punch. But he was the master of the range. That's why he won that fight. Because when you fight a guy that's a lot bigger than you, you want to be in that mid range or really close on top of him. Clinch.
Boxers. That's why boxers, I feel, that if you can take a guy who is MMA and if you can train him really good and being able to slip the jab and get in, that's a Tyson,
Yeah, but they can't really slip. They can't really slip the way that boxers do because you got the threat of kicks and knees. So they have. I mean, I'm not an MMA fighter. Like I've got experience with Thai boxing and jiu-jitsu and regular boxing in my younger days, but they can't slip the same way because of the distance and the weapons involved with MMA. So I mean, you do see guys slipping, but that's when the guys in that mid-range, right? Like when they're up against the ropes.
Well,
they're not going to slip it when there's a little distance so they can get the kicks in.
I'm sure from your college years, that is a little bit more of a realistic setting. So I'm sure that you understand about watch out, if someone's going to throw a punch, I'm sure that plenty of times you've slipped and then
yes.
And then it's all over because you know what to do after that. So,
yeah. But it was trained against untrained guys back then. Right. But
some live sparring.
Yes.
So to continue with talking about what I expected Overeem to do is to be a little bit more of a harder target to hit. I feel that Volkov did fantastic. He stuck to his game plan, and he's the type of guy where he hits you with anything, you're going to feel it. He's just too large and too strong, and he does throw a good punch, and his hands are probably the size of grapefruits. So, if he hits you,
big hands,
all he's got to do is put his fist out there and he's going to hit something. So I just think that great job to the champion, but Overeem, I felt, could have moved his head more. Don't stay on the outside with this guy. You stay on the outside with this guy, and that's what he wants. He's going to touch it. So he should have slipped more, tried to get in. And like you said, Mark, why didn't he take him down more? Why didn't he, like you said, he has skills, but that guy is gigantic. Now, you don't have to do a double leg. You could slip. You can do some trips. You can, try and, pull some calf kicks off, slow him down, get him hurt, on his feet, get him where it's going to be easier to take him down. I just feel that Overeem could have done more.
Yeah. Now, here's the interesting thing, and then, then we'll call it a day. That John Jones is now in this division, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of guys. I don't know. We're just gonna have to see how he does. But if he does win this division, dude, I think he's the greatest in his weight class. Probably of all time because of it. No one's really been able to put him away or anything. But just think, he's pretty. Always thought that he was pretty big for the light heavyweight division. But these guys, man. Heavyweight. Just look at this guy that Overeem just lost to. That's a beast. And then you got the Black Beast, which I think he would beat because Beast is still new to the game. He's got to get in better shape, and he just doesn't have the technique yet. But then you got, what's that other guy? Rudik, Razor.
He got knocked out.
He got knocked out.
And who knocked him out? Ngannou.
That's the guy. But there's two guys. There's three guys that I'm thinking of. The Black Beast, Ngannou, and there's some other guy.
Well, the Black Beast is going up against what's his name? Who's he going up against? I'm trying to think right now. The other fights. Let me take a look here at the other fights. The Black Beast is going up against Blades. That's
another guy.
Yeah,
that's another guy. He's got
great wrestling. So Blades, he's got great, and I think that would be the smart fight for Blades to take down the Black Beast because they're both powerful guys. But I think that Blades is going to take it. If the Black Beast wins, he's going to win on the feet. If Blades wins,
then you got Walt Harris, who I think. There's just so many guys in that division, dude. There's another guy that I'm missing. That I'm missing. Other than the older guys like Dos Santos and Mark Hunt. I mean, John Jones is gonna have. We're gonna see. We're gonna see, but it's gonna be interesting when he gets in there, though, man. I don't know, but you never know. I mean, he's got that. He's ready to champion. You got that champion mindset. He's just gotta bulk up a little bit and go to work, man.
Well, listen, Mark, just to leave off, I think our next podcast or your next podcast is going to be on the Usman and Burns fight. So you got Usman and Burns. You also got Kevin Gastelum and Ian. I forget how to say his last name. Heinz, something like that. And there's a couple other good fights there, but I'm sure that you'll make time to recap on some of these.
Yeah. I was debating if I should watch that one, but I know I'll probably end up watching it. Yeah, we got to see. We'll see if Burns takes that. But supposedly Usman's on there. I think he is tied or he broke St. Pierre's record for I think the most wins of the champion. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But Mark, Pierre, I honestly do think that Usman is going to probably take Burns, but I think it's going to be a really great fight. And I think that if he does win, I feel that St. Pierre should come back and battle him for the.
Well, there's talks about him fighting Khabib. I think St. Pierre is just going to be doing super fights.
Yeah, I think
which is smart. He makes more money that way.
I wouldn't like him because I like Khabib and I like St. Pierre. I would rather St. Pierre fight Usman.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And I think
anyway, guys,
weight better. But anyway, let me let you finish up.
Anyway, guys, that's it for this week's show. Check us out next weekend. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend. And don't forget to check out my regular podcast that comes out every Sunday. You can listen to it on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify. Check out the Marc The Shark MMA Show YouTube channel. And if you're interested in getting interviewed on this show, hit me up on Facebook. Look for the Marc The Shark MMA Show on Facebook. Also, Twitter is Marc BJJ Fighter, and it's Marc with a C, not a K. And then Marc_Ritorto 2 on Instagram. All right, everybody. Stay safe.